Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Unedited, just straight out chatting about books that I wish I could erase from my memory so that I can read them once again for the first time. Stay tuned. She's just got out of the swimming pool, eh?
Yeah. Take it to Daddy.
Hey, come. Where's your bunny? Don't kill your bunny. Don't kill your bunny. These things are tough, eh? Okay everyone, I'm also down at this level because my daughter that you've just been watching has always been watching me when I do my videos, and I feel sorry for her that she can't come and play with me or take part. So I just thought it's only fair if I come down a couple of levels. So I'm sitting on the floor and let's see what happens. Maybe she might join in again a bit later. But anyway, this video, like I say, I'm just going to chat. I haven't actually prepared it much at all. I haven't prepared anything really. I just want to talk about these books that have had such a profound impact on my life, in my lifetime. They've touched me, they moved me, and they taught me something. And I really wish I could read them again for the first time. And I'm definitely going to reread all of them before I die, hopefully. And I just want to talk about, not so much about the stories themselves, but just about how they made me feel, what I felt when I actually was reading them. Okay, so let's get started. Starting with two books. Now, I've been doing this comparing thing. I've already done 2 coming-of-age novels, and I plan to do another one. These are fantastic coming-of-age, a novel set in carnivals, and you know how I feel about carnivals. And that is Joyland and Something Wicked This Way Comes. Now, I've already read Something Wicked This Way Comes something like, 3, 4, 5 times. But there's always room for a couple of times more. It's just such a magical story about this dark carnival that comes, and these 2 boys born on the other side of each side of midnight. And really, this should be on everyone's bucket list, especially if you enjoy horror. Very suitable for YA, and just a beautiful read. And this one, Joyland, I read this year. Oh man, I was moved to tears. A student working in a fun house or a carnival, or named Joyland. And it's a murder mystery, coming of age, sort of a little bit of horror, but I wouldn't call it a horror, but it's just a joyful novel about, you call it love, about friendship. It's full of nostalgia. In fact, both of these are full of nostalgia, and yeah, I'd highly recommend them. Right, let's move on. Okay, this is one you have not seen before. This is a novel that I taught when I was in high school, when I taught in high school to my grade 11s, and that is The Prince of Tides by Pat Conroy. This is just a glorious novel, and believe me, even if you only read horror, do yourselves a favour, pick this up. There are plenty of very dark themes. It's not all just about love and it's like a love story or a romance. There's so much more to it. You might have watched a movie with, what was her name?
Jeff Bridges and Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand and Jeff Bridges, eh?
You think so?
Yeah. But really, this is just magnificent. And it's themes of, I think it's attempted suicide of this guy's sister. But the whole thing is it's set in the South, in, I think, South Carolina. And just the way that Pat Conroy describes the setting of where this family grows up. It's like you live, breathe, smell, taste. It's like you're there, in the tides, in this space. They go out fishing for, I don't think it's fish, it's shrimp or something, but it's just such a beautiful story. And also a tragic story, and also a violent story. I'm not going to go into details, but what this family goes through and the secrets that they keep, it's devastating. And that is The Prince of Tides. Right, what have you got next? This is in no particular order, by the way. Okay, I talked about this book when I spoke about my top 10 horror novels of all time, and I'd love to read this again. That is Let the Right One In. This is unlike any vampire novel you'll ever read. It is completely original. The vampire is in the body of a young girl, and she befriends a boy, I think it's Oscar, who's badly bullied at school, horrendously bullied. And they form this very touching friendship. And this is interesting because it's kind of in the backdrop of this such dark horror. I mean, the things that go on in this book, it is dark and it is freaking, I don't know how else to describe it. But this friendship kind of is a counterpoint to all that horror and that stuff that's going on. And I mean, some of these people get killed in gruesome ways. And it's not just about the vampire. There's all sorts of other stuff happening as well in the town. And I remember it's a very depressed kind of mood. It's set in, I think he's from Sweden, the writer, and it's in the middle of winter. And apparently the winters there are very, very depressing. We've got nothing to complain about here. Even though last video I wore a little, what's the name? But yeah, it's very depressing, very cold, and it just adds to the tension, adds to the whole atmosphere of this novel. So that is Let the Right One In. Okay, here's another book I haven't spoken about ever. And this is actually part 2 in the series. I haven't got part 1 anymore. And I'm definitely going to read The Pillars of the Earth again. This is the second part, World Without End. Apparently this is even better than Pillars of the Earth. I don't know why I haven't read this. Pillars of the Earth is about the building of this big cathedral in 12th century England. So it's kind of medieval times. And it is just magnificent. It is not only about the building of the cathedral, but it is about the people. And it's about good versus evil, like kind of around the whole church setting, the religious setting. There are the most amazing characters, unforgettable characters. There are some despicable characters. There's corruption. There's a lot of sex and violence as well, I remember. But I was just, from the first page to the last page of this book, I did not want it to end. And I had no idea why I had not read this one, part 2. And I think it's 3 parts, I think. Yeah, probably 3 parts. So I'm definitely going to give it a go at some stage. You might not think you're into historical novels, and the idea of building a cathedral might not appeal to you, but believe me, that is a tiny part of the story. It is magnificent, and it goes through generations. Do yourselves a favour, The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. Okay, what have we got next? Okay, now we've got Nosferatu by Joe Hill, Stephen King's son. Now, this, out of all the Joe Hill books that I've read, this just blew me away. I love the characters. What was that girl's name again?
Vic.
Yes, Vic McQueen. Okay, and she was just spectacular. I loved her. Such a quirky character, very flawed, but one of my favourite horror characters. And of course you got Charlie Manx. Yeah, he's totally evil, and it's just a magical story. And you got Christmas Land, and at the end I did not want to get out of Christmas Land, as bad as it is. It's just a magical horror story. It's very well paced, it's very fast paced. I read it very quickly, and I would love to read it again. So that is Nosferatu. This next book. this is one of those special books that you read, and I know for a lot of people on Goodreads, I've read some of the reviews, this is a book you have to read before you die. Whether you like horror, coming of age, whatever genre you like, does not matter. You have to pick up Robert Buchanan's Boy's Life. Now, this moved me to tears. It's about a father and a son who discover, well actually the boy sees a car coming and falling into this lake, and the father dives in and finds this man that's been beaten into a pulp, and he's got this barbed wire or something around his neck, and he's handcuffed to the car. So he's already dead, and the car sinks. So it's a murder mystery. But man, it is so much more than that. It is a coming of age story, so beautifully told. It just takes you back to your youth, you know, to easier times, to better times when you could ride your bike around. A little bit like those stories I mentioned in the other video. But this actually tops it, I think. This is a stunning, stunning, stunning story. And it's definitely in my top 10 novels of all time, probably in my top 5. And yeah, do yourselves a favor, Boy's Life. Made me feel so nostalgic. Made me look back on my life and kind of, you feel sorry for people that are growing up now, that they don't have that anymore. They don't have those times when you can ride around on your bike, that you can be outside. Hell, you can even go off with your friends and go camping on your own. We don't have that anymore, and that's kind of sad. But yeah, do yourselves a favor, Boy's Life. Okay, this is my one and only fantasy on the list, and that is a book that changed me when I was about 14 years old. And yeah, I know there are a lot of Lord of the Rings fans out there, but I'm sorry. For me, Raymond D. Feist is the person that got me into fantasy, and that book was Magician. And it's about these boys, Pug, and I can't remember the other one, but they're basically in this, it starts off that they're young boys, and they don't know anything. They're in this like a kingdom, whatever, and a castle, and they're given different jobs. So in other words, Pug is left alone right at the end. His friend is turned into a warrior, and Pug becomes the apprentice to a magician because no one else wants him. So yeah, all the boys are apprenticed to different things that they're going to do in their life. And this book is magical. It takes place in other worlds. There's a little bit of a science fiction-y feel about it because it's an otherworldly thing as well. But it is a gorgeous fantasy, and it changed the way I see the world. It's so imaginative and it's so beautiful. So that is Boy's Life by Raymond E. Feist. And this cover's falling apart a little bit, so I need to fix that. But I had another copy, but it was basically absolutely ruined. So recently I bought myself another copy. That's Magician. Okay. And I'm not even going to talk about this book for too long, because this is a book that absolutely frickin' blew me away. And this is my #1 book of all time. Not just in horror, but any genre. And that is Swan Song. Now, honestly, the characters, the setting, wow, this book is powerful. I think have I spoken about some of the characters? There's Josh, their sister. They are just gorgeously drawn out. You live these characters. The bad characters, the evil in this book, is also absolutely despicable, hateful. And the good characters, you literally do not want to see them get hurt in any way. You are rooting for them. By the end of the book, you are rooting for them to such an extent that you will cry your eyes out if they get hurt or anything happens to them. It's a beautiful book. It gets very dark, be warned. There are some graphic, violent scenes. There are some scenes of torture, of rape. So there's stuff in here that is actually pretty damn gruesome. But if you can get past that, it's just such an amazing story. And the setting of this nuclear winter, because basically it's a nuclear holocaust. The world is wiped out, and it's a nuclear winter, and it's just crazy how these survivors have to make it in this new world. So I can't speak highly enough of Swan Song. Read it, especially if you enjoy horror. You'll love this book. And finally, we're going to get to a book that I've spoken about already. I did a review, but I'm actually going to present 3 books, because Clive Barker is not just about pure horror. He does dark fantasy, stroke horror so well, and there are 3 books he's written, and that is Imagica, that is The Great and Secret Show. How's that for a cover? Those snakes at the bottom there. And my favourite cover that I own, my favourite book that I own, besides Swan Song, my second favourite book of all time, and that is Weave World. Now, I've already read this book twice. I should be reading it again quite soon. That's how good, that's how much I enjoy it. But basically a carpet, I gave a full review on another video, so I'm not going to talk long about it. But it's a magic world inside a carpet. And the carpet needs to be kept safe from this evil that is threatening it, and that wants to unravel it. And if they manage to do that, all magic in the world will be lost forever. So there are people safeguarding it, and there are dark forces that are trying to destroy the carpet. So it's just full of imagination. In fact, all 3 of these books, Clive Barker's biggest strength is his absolute imagination. It's just phenomenal. And the way he writes, the things that he writes about, not just the characters, but he creates his worlds, and he creates his worlds within worlds. I think Imagica is about worlds within worlds within worlds. But yeah, these are 3 stunning books that I would recommend you read before you die. As same as all of these ones here. Okay everyone, so that's me, uncut, unedited for the first time. It's kind of interesting to do, it's kind of relaxed, quite fun. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I'm sad my little girl didn't want to come and join me again, but hey, that's what happens. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and until next time, take care, keep those pages turning. Cheers.